And as the conflict in the Middle East rages on, new CBS News polling finds an increasing number of Americans want President Biden to encourage Israel to stop military actions in Gaza. CBS News Executive Director in Elections and Surveys, Anthony Salvanto, is joining us now to break down these polling numbers. It's good to have you here. This has been an area, I guess, of ongoing criticism of President Biden by members of his own party in many cases. How do Americans feel about how the Biden administration is handling this, and what do they want to see the administration do in terms of assisting Israel?
Well, that's exactly right, and I'll break that down for you. This is Biden's approval of handling the Israel-Hamas conflict, and what you see here is this downward movement, right?
Yes.
She's down to 33%. That's the lowest since we've been measuring that. Now, you mentioned from within his own party. That's really important because there's a couple of things going on here, Anne-Marie. One is the thing you mentioned at the top, which is this increase in people saying they want him to call on Israel to decrease or stop military action. And in fact, the stop number in particular is the one you really want to see there. But there's something else, too, and that is among Democrats, should the U.S. be sending weapons and supplies to Israel, you see that drop there from October, just after the terrorist attacks, to now at 32%. And that's important because obviously, you know, what we see in polling is oftentimes a president's support. It's not just partisan, but having that unified party behind someone is really important. And this, we've seen Democrats with those shifting views, is underpinning some of that decline.
I think it's really interesting particularly with the first graphic that you showed us, because, you know, that was when he was, you know, coming off of the plane and hugging Benjamin Netanyahu and shaking hands. And increasingly, he's been more and more critical, but that actually hasn't helped him in terms of how people feel he's doing with this situation.
Well, right. And also you see these shifts, which speak to that, right? I mentioned the overall decline, not just among Democrats, but among overall on sending weapons. But you also see this increase in folks, especially among Democrats, who want to also send humanitarian aid to Palestinians in Gaza. So again, within his own party, he is facing that pressure.
And then what about the other ongoing conflict, Ukraine? How do Americans feel about how he's handling that? What do they want to see him do? Okay,
so start here with the basics, right? Should we be sending weapons and military aid to Ukraine? It's roughly split, right? You get this narrow majority. But behind that, there's a couple of things going on. Now, the first one, I think everybody kind of knows, if you're following this, is really partisan, right? You've got Democrats in favor, and you've got a substantial number of Republicans opposed to that. Now, behind that, Anne-Marie, are a couple of really important things. One is the influence of MAGA Republicans. They're less likely to want to support aid to Ukraine. And the other thing is here, Republicans say they look to Donald Trump for information about what's going on the conflict more than they look to the Pentagon, more than to some conservative media sources, more than to the State Department.
Wow.
So we've seen this kind of thing before, where he has so much influence over his party, and this is a reflection of some of that.
All those individuals and groups that you listed, Donald Trump would be the least informed. He's a candidate. He's not in government now. He doesn't really know what's going on. I think that's very interesting. Finally, let's look at Biden's approval rating. What's driving Americans' opinions of him?
Well, you know, it's all these things we're talking about, but it's still the economy. And I'm going to sort of slide back here to this. And specifically, it works this way. You've got people who, if they disapprove of the way Joe Biden is handling the economy, they're more likely to disapprove of him overall than any other of these items that we've talked about, right? And so that's important. Look, his overall approval rating has kind of leveled off in the low 40s. That's where it's been. But again, when you ask people not just about his approval rating, but about why they think things in the country aren't going well, specifically, they rank the economy higher than problems overseas. They're all important, but in relative importance,
of course,
that's still the driver.
It's the kitchen table. It's always the kitchen table. Anthony Salvanto, thank you.
Thank you.